Mario vs. Sonic, a testament as old as gaming history is. Okay, maybe not exactly as old, but you get the idea. Nintendo and Sega battled out with each other for time and time in history. Heck, Sega's marketing still echoes to this day. Sega does what Nintendo don't. And while the competition is more tame nowadays, we still got amazing collabs like the Olympic Games behind these two rivalries. Until they discontinued that, and now instead we have a NFT mobile game. Point is, Mario and Sonic has their history. So why does it matter? Well, Sonic X Shadow Generation was something I was looking forward to, as I'll mention later in the video, whereas Mario and Luigi Brothership, aka the RPG franchise, coming out again is a genuine surprise and I was also excited for. Also will tell you later in the video. And these two games, they came out 3 weeks apart, which got me thinking, which of these two games is better? So, grab your chili dogs and max knock, run fast and jump high, cause I am setting the war once again to find out which of these two deserves to be at the top. I'm making a really weird pose, aren't I? I'm looking at the camera lens, not the monitor, but I feel like I'm making a weird pose. So actually, we're gonna talk about 3 games here. See, Sonic X Shadow Generation is actually 2 games bundled into one. Sonic Generation, which is the remastered version from its original port. Kind of, not really, we'll get back into that. And the new game that came out with the said bundle, Shadow Generation. See, the reason why I was very excited for this game is because I get a second chance to beat Sonic Generation. See, the original port of mine got corrupted. Whether I tried to reinstall it, verify the cats, move the file around, heck, I tried to get a new computer, got a new computer, and tried the game to see if it works. Twice. None of it worked. So I thought, well, this is it. I'm never gonna beat Sonic Generation. It's also probably because I messed around with the mods and everything, and well, I learned from that mistake, and my punishment is never beating the game. Until they announced the remastered, and I got really hyped about it. With that said, I did play a bit of the original port before it got corrupted, so I do know a thing or two about the original port, so I can compare with the remaster if need be. You know what? Since we're talking about it already, let's start with Sonic Generation Remastered. Except that is a big fat lie and not at the same time. In my entire life playing video games, this is the weirdest remastered I have ever seen. Period. To be blunt, gameplay and graphic has no changes, none that I could tell or research, and that is so stupid. Heck, Sonic Generation still runs only in 60 FPS, whereas Shadow Generation goes up to 120 FPS. While one can argue that 60 frames per second is good enough, there's 2 problems with this case. One is input latency. To simply put it, the more frame per second a game has, the more accurate your timing will be when inputting a button. So if you're inputting a jump, you are going to have more accurate timing with 120 frames per second versus 60 frames per second versus 30 frames per second. And for a very fast game like racing game or Sonic speed game, 60 is not good enough for this generation anymore. And 2, even if you don't agree with me at that point, Shadow the Hedgehog is 120 frames per second. So You're telling me that Saturday Hedgehog is 120 frames per second and you could not upgrade Sonic Generation being from 60 to 120 despite your claiming that it's a remastered? I don't know, but that feels scummy. But the thing is, they did change a bit. For example, the story cutscenes, dialogues in the story and whatnot was changed a bit. Heck, I really like how modern Sonic finally has voice lines when he rescues his friends, compared to in the original, he's just motion stuff in silence. But that is not enough. And also, it's a weird changes. Like, why change the story voice line? Why change the animation of stuff? Why change minor things? And don't even bother with major stuff. This isn't a remastered. It's a retweaking at best. I get why they were afraid of changing though. Yes, Sonic Colors Remastered was horribly executed from what I've heard. And they didn't want it to make the same mistake. But just because you failed once doesn't mean you shouldn't learn and try again. I don't know. I was just really hyped to see a graphical improvement after 13 years. Only to get nothing. With that said, story is pretty much the same. Sonic and his friends got taken to the White Void, need to go to each stages to complete it and get some colors back, save the world with Retro Sonic and win the game. Simple, straight, to the point. There's nothing that they are gloating about how great it is, but I don't mind the simplicity. If they want to tell a simple story and nothing that they are forcing to make a more out of it, then I'm okay with it. Which leads us to gameplay. The Sonic generation has 6 Chow scattered in each stages, 3 in each mode. One of each Chow unlocks different artworks and whatnot in Gallery Room. So it's only mainly for 100%ing the game and looking for cool arts and whatnot. If you like those, then go for them. Otherwise, there's not really any point of doing so. Each stage has 2 acts. Act 1 being Retro Sonic, aka Classic 2D Sonic mode, and Act 2 being Modern Sonic, aka Brrrr. Retro Sonic is pretty much a fast platforming mode where if you react and or pick the right direction you're going, you're rewarded for more speed and faster time completion, which is awesome! If we did not get punished heavily if we picked the wrong one. I'm going to be honest, I don't like Retro Sonic mode at all. If you picked the wrong direction or you reacted too late, you get heavily punished by slowing you down immensely and you need to do various platforming just so that you can try and speed up again. This wouldn't be a problem if the later stages wasn't so complicated. It actually hurts my head when I was looking around and just wondering what the hell am I supposed to do here? Slowing me down because the platforming and direction I needed to go made no sense at first glance. Like, I get that this is more play the stage more and know the map better kind of game. But if you're gonna make me stuck in a certain part because you couldn't make it clear what exactly I should do, that's a game design problem. Yeah, I think Retro Sonic isn't my cup of tea. I just got so frustrating that it wasn't fun to me at all, and I just wanted that mode to be just done. So that means that Modern Sonic was more fun and enjoyable for me, right? Well, yes, but kind of no. Modern Sonic is fun. Running in super speed, homing, slamming the ground and immediately running. That is fun. I love how even when slowing down, I immediately understood what I did wrong, and so I want to retry the stage so that I get rewarded when I execute that part perfectly. And yes, there were parts where I was stuck for a bit, but compared to Retro Sonic's frustration, this was bearable. But this mode also irritates me for one core reason. The controls sucks.
Ah, yes, one of the most important part of the game. What could possibly go wrong?
The control movement is slippery, melee control has a mind of its own, so trying out new shortcut is a 50-50 reward or death pit mission. Homing enemies just doesn't register because the game refuses to target lock the enemy, and if you wanna S rank each act, you need to make sure you don't die once. With everything stacked against you, good luck dealing with it!
I did it! I was immensely pissed about it, but I did it!
I know this was a problem in the original port as well, and the fact they didn't even bother fixing this tilts me. They had time, they had opportunity, and they just shrugged it off. I am genuinely disappointed. There's also the whole minigame section where you need to do at least one minigame per stage to get the key to fight the boss. But the minigame is boring. Some of them is fun and interesting, but most pass. Like Knuckles collecting points and Vector's node minigame is meh. Vectors would have been more fun if homing actually worked, but I already salted you guys with my take.
This is your friendly reminder that 9 of you should be drinking water right about now.
But Cream's limited point boost and racing double ganger is pretty fun. It might be taste to taste preference, so you will need to try out yourself to see what you like or not in this case. Also, the mini bosses in this game is really fun. They are mandatory as you need to collect 7 Chaos Emerald to beat the final boss, and each mini bosses has 1 Chaos Emerald. So you have to do it, but honestly I find them more fun than the bosses itself in this game. So honestly, I have no complaints with this.
And the final boss was meh. I really didn't know what I was doing, and I won the final boss first try. It could have been better, but whatever.
Overall, I am happy that I finished the game I always wanted to. But at the same time, yeah, I would not recommend this game to anyone. I tried to get into this over and over and over, but the moment the game was over, I didn't sat there and thought how wonderful the game I just played was. Instead, I basically just said, well, the game is over, time to move on, and immediately I moved on.
This could also be because I mostly play Mario games and rarely has played Sonic games. I mean, I have dabbled in some Sonic games in my life before. Sonic Heroes, Sonic Frontiers, Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform. Trust me when I say this game is absolutely worth it. It's a banger. But I have played more Mario games than Sonic. And while I try to be very neutral about this whole review thing, subconscious bias is subconscious bias. So does that mean that in this video I'm gonna just say, hey, Mario wins because subconscious bias? Well, let's find out, Sabi, as we go to the next game in hand, Shadow Generation.
The new game everyone was hyped about, Shadow Generation. Or what I like to call Edgelord Emo Chibu Wannabe Generation.
Look, I'm going to be honest, I don't like Shadow. He is such a cringe, man. Speaking of cringe, have you ever thought about subscribing, liking, commenting, and God, I hate my life.
Always talking about being the ultimate life form, whereas he can't even run as fast as Sonic without a little assistant with his rocket boots. Look, say what you want about Amy, but at least her rejected lore speed is legit while carrying a heavy ass hammer. Shadow is just a denial cheater. With my personal bias aside, I still tried the game. Because hey, I like Sonic Frontier, I thought maybe they learned a thing or two from it. And I'm happy to say, They did. The presentation of this game is wonderful. It's so beautiful and awe-dropping. The music is pretty fire and well, fits well with the shadow, "Oh, I'm such a S-Lord, oh, ultimate life form, totally not Chibu" music. Whereas the stages, however, is pretty solid. Amazing places to run into, and I remember some of the stages from previous games, which is nostalgic in itself. Though I do wish there was more messing with the stage thing we saw in the beginning. There are a couple of them, don't get me wrong, but I would love if we had a bit more of that. Nothing really to deduct points here though, just a selfish desire. Which leads me to gameplay, and oh my goodness gracious, this game is fun. The control feels amazing. A few hiccups here and there, but compared to Sonic Generation, this is heavenly to get into. Moving around stages feels so cool, and if you pick a wrong direction, instead of punishing you with slow platforming, they instead punish you with time. So you will still feel like you're going fast, but there's just other ways to go faster in terms of time trials, aka also better for ranks. Yes, there are some platforming here and there, but compared to other Sonic games I have played, this feels fine. Shadow also unlocks new abilities that can be also used in stages, and originally I thought this would slow me down, but no, it doesn't. It goes with the same principle of react in time, be rewarded for speed, and I gladly accept that cause because it makes the game more fun. You can also use the abilities to unlock new areas to go and get to more stages, more hidden items, etc, etc. It is a mandatory abilities, so you will need to get all of them by the end of the game. I will say this though, the first abilities they show us, you won't get it after quite a while. This was just a demo preview. Why did they show it then and there? I don't know. Also, one more thing. In Shadow Generation, you will have to do all of the mini games, aka 2 of them per each stages, rather than the usual 1 per each stage in Sonic Generation. I would have complained, but honestly, I really find the mini games in Shadow Generation really fun. So, honestly, more fun. What's the problem?
So the game is amazing. What's the problem with it? Well, it's gotta be the presentation and the story.
See, they changed the open world from 2D to 3D, which is something I needed to get used to. I personally don't vibe with this openness in general. Just the white void to go from one stage to another, or collecting artwork and music around the world. I would like something more environmental. At least after we completed each stage, but each of its own. Story, however, they really needed to do something more about it. If I had to compare again, Shadow Generation story is like Sonic Generation but a level or 2 more. Complex isn't really the right word here, but more varied might be the right term.
And this usually wouldn't be a problem if they didn't introduce Maria into the story. See, Maria is a very special person to Shadow, and well, let's just say in this game there's little to no interaction around them. Like, I wouldn't mind if there was a cutscene or 2 of Shadow and Maria just relaxing and just talking about life, just bonding with it. And instead we just got, "Oh, hi Maria, danger call, bye Maria."
Yes, there are some wholesome scenes. Yes, you can talk to her off cutscene. But I wanted more. The story was disappointing because they had a chance to do something special and completely ignored it until the end, if even at that. And that feels depressing.
But still, if you're planning to buy Sonic X Shadow Generation, I would say it's worth it solely because of Shadow version alone. Yes, there's a lot of improvement they could have done with the game, especially with the Sonic version. But the quality, the fast, and the fun of Shadow Generation brings a whole new level that I highly recommend this game. Even though I do not like Shadow as a character. Alright, we talked about the hedgehogs. Now we move to the next theme, where we have the folks who can jump high. So get your sibling bonds ready, get all your mushrooms back, and get your fabulous mustache signed, because now we are talking about Mario and Luigi Brothership.
I am actually surprised Mario and Luigi franchise came back. Last time I ever completed one was Bowser's Inside Story, the original port, not the remastered one. Dream Team I never completed, and I could not afford Paper Jam back then. And then the company who made that franchise shut down. From what I have heard, the two games I didn't finish had mixed opinions about it. So when I heard the company went down, I thought it was over. Mario and Luigi franchise is gone and we won't see another one of these. Until Brothership was announced.
This is like all the stars aligning for me. I can finally afford games I want to play, and I really wanted to play RPG game, especially Mario and Luigi. And as a content creator, this video is motivating me to actually finish the game. But with everything I said, was the game worth it? Well then, let's find out, Sevi.
Mario, Luigi and other folks from Mushroom Kingdom universe was transported to another world where people are sentient electric plugs.
I don't know which is more funny. The fact that we can say it's canon that Mario franchise now has an isekai and multiverses without counting the Smash Brothers. Or we can say that the whole connecting the island, bonding and everything is a terminology for the theme electricity in this game. God damn it, Nintendo!
Jokes aside, the premise is simple. The island was disconnected in this world by some evil magic voodoo things, as always. And using the ship, the lighthouse and the brother, their job is to connect the world once again, island by island, while finding out what in the 7 seas happened here.
Actually, it's the 5 C's in this game. The story in this game is actually wonderful. Yes, it can be childish at times, but there's some morals and interests that even adults can appreciate. With that said, I do have some complaints though. The story has some loose strings that they never even established it later or concreted the idea. They either just forgot about it or they just added in the last minute in the credit scene, which sucks, but whatever. I did think I maybe missed the story here and there, but I did all the side quests. At least I think I did all the side quests. We'll get back to that later.
The presentation in this game is amazing. I love the new Mario and Luigi design, how they have gradient color while still having that symbolic red and green design. Two things though. One, I find it hilarious how despite Mario and Luigi got transported to another world, mushrooms and syrups and growths that fit them is surprisingly still a thing here, despite nobody looks like them. Maybe should have considered that in world building, Nintendo. Maybe. And two, it's Luigi. Look, I love Luigi. He's a great character. But making him a slapstick character every single time can get annoying. Like, poor dude. Give him a moment of being serious and heroism.
There was this moment in the game where Mario and Luigi and everyone was preparing for a serious fight, and when they were preparing to get to it, Mario was serious, but Luigi was like, what's happening? Look, I get it, Luigi is supposed to be a slapstick character, but Luigi is brave, and when things comes to it, Luigi will do what he can, and he has shown that over and over. Luigi is brave, courageous, and is a hero. I wish they really took him a bit more serious. It's hard to explain this without spoiling the game and showing the cutscene and whatnot, but Mario and Luigi is equal, and Luigi is supposed to not be a Mario shadow, and this has been proven especially in this game. I just wish they just hammered it down, man.
Stage building in this game is pretty well done, nothing to complain here. Maybe some islands takes a bit more time than I would like them to, but honestly that's just nitpicking by this point. And finally, the music. It's pretty good. It pretty much nails how we perceive Mario and Luigi music to be. I will say I got sick and tired with the normal battle music though. Once you hear it over and over and over, you just noise it down and get bored. I do wish they did try to have various battle music though, like each different world or island there's a different spice and or instrument to show their culture of said island. But what we got is fine, but do get ready to be hearing it a lot. Which leads me to the final topic of this game, the gameplay. This game surprisingly have a lot of mechanics to go around. So for the sake of easiness, I will boil it down to 3 parts: basic battle mode, adventure, and battle plugs. Battle mode has jump, hammer, bros point aka BP, item to use in dire situation, and flee because sometimes fighting is annoying, yo. Keep in mind that some attacks can be more detrimental than useful. For example, you can use jump on spike enemies, but you will stub your feet and hurt yourself. Or when you're using hammer on flying enemies, it will miss because they can just fly away from danger. With that said, I did miss the attacking combos and I am so glad it's back. When attacking, you have other bro to help you to do more damage by assisting the combo. Same thing can be said with BP, aka mana of this game. The bros can assist each other with massive damage when collabing, with a massive thunderstorm, volleyballing a Yoshi egg, no I'm not making that up, and also Mario doing Fire Tornado!
Inazuma 11 might have influenced me a bit too much. I blame my buddy Tale of the Toaster for this.
What makes this game really awesome is counterattacks. When it's enemy's turn, you have a chance and or chances to dodge their attack and even hurt them if you time your attack correctly. And that is such a cool concept. I really do like how difficult it can be as well. I was a bit worried that counterattack might be a bit broken, but truth be told, even I had a hard time evading attacks because the patterns actually took a few moments just to understand how to evade them properly. Heck, even I had a couple of game overs because of the challenges, which is always a welcome difficult to overcome. So props to the devs for making this game a challenge. Yes. Slight spoiler, but when you level up every 7 times, you unlock a rank. Each rank, except the very last, gives you one ability of your choice for each brothers. Keep in mind you can only pick one and you cannot change it for the entire rest of the game. So pick carefully. Why slight spoiler? Well, one of the rank rewards you can get is EXP boost, which gives you plus 20% EXP for each defeated enemies. I don't know if you should pick it or not if you're 100%ing the game.
See, I did almost everything in the game. I did all the side quests, at least from what the log and the gossip ladies were telling me. I did all the achievements in the challenge mode and everything of sort. I did a lot. But I know I did not 100% the game. And even then, I was 3 levels over the final boss. Now, it was still giving me a challenge of defending myself, protecting myself, and it still did a lot of damage, but I could feel I was a bit overpowered. Personally, I don't regret it, but whether you want to take the EXP boost or not especially if you did it like how I did it. That's up to you. I don't know whether you'll be overpowered or not without it.
Adventure mode is just that. Adventure mode. Find an island, find a lighthouse, travel to the lighthouse, connect with the ship, rinse and repeat. I do like traveling the sea current and trying to find new island here and there, though when I'm trying to go from one point to another, it can get annoying to traverse. I am just glad connecting island is just a fast traveling via the ship, which is amazing and saves so much time.
You will eventually get faster and faster ship travel, but that's eventually in the later of the game. So in the beginning, you do have to wait a bit.
While the ship is traveling, you can still do side quests, which are short and sweet. It has a bit of side stories that I really think enhances the world building for this game. I will say that some of the side quests is just not available until you advance in the story, aka Luigi logic. I don't know why they displayed that side quest before you even get those abilities, but you know what, I digress. And finally, battle plugs. Battle plugs are pretty much a set conditions for each battle. For example, if you stomp one enemy perfectly, you will create a explosive damage to enemies around you. Or if someone is running low on health, you can immediately feed them a mushroom without sacrificing your turn. The catch is these battle plugs have limited charges, and some can take forever to be recharged again. And no, you can't use it once and wait for it to be recharged. It needs to be fully juiced out to be start recharging. They did this mainly because they wanted you to get more power plugs. To do so, you need to collect these power plugs to craft new plugs. And I think I got all the power plugs.
Long story short, I got every battle plugs but 2. I don't know how or where I collected every power plugs, but at the end of the game I was missing 80 of them. And I have no idea where I missed them.
With that said, I have a mixed feelings about them. They are very limited runs and forever charging is annoying when you have not many plugs. And it's also annoying to find the right ones when you have a lot of them. They could have made the battle plug menu wider and bigger like I am showing in the screen. I could say the same for the item menus as well, to be honest. But in another point, they are awesome to use. If you use combo, say spike and AoE explosion, you can now do spike falls to not only one enemy but all the enemies affected by AoEs. It endorses you to experiment with stuff, see what synergies, what doesn't, and it feels amazing when you put 2 and 2 together and it actually works like intended. So in the end, the battle plugs are amazing concept and executed well, but I think it could have been a bit better in my opinion.
One more thing, I didn't know where to put this in the video, but there was a point where I thought we reached the final boss or the ending of the game, only to realize that I had 4 to 6 more hours of gameplay that I needed to play. Now, this could have been more of a me thing, this could have been the whole game being a misdirection and fully executing when it does, but the thing is, you will know when the final phase is happening. Or, you know, you're actually smarter than me, but I digress.
And I think that's what the game is. The game does so many things well, and I actually had an absolute blast playing it. I just wish it was a bit better in all departments. The story, presentation, music, gameplay, adventure, battle plug, well executed, and I am happy what I got. It just didn't reach the end point I would like them to have.
All in all, I highly recommend that you play Mario and Luigi Brothership. It was so fun to play the game, and I can't believe the franchise is back again. And honestly, I can't wait for more to come. With that said, we had one question that we started with this video, and let's answer it. Which games were better, Sonic X Shadow Generation or Mario and Luigi Brothership? Well, it depends.
See, when I was playing Mario and Luigi, a thought struck to me, and now it echoes through my head because honestly, it's true. I was comparing a fast-paced, time trial action game to a strategic turn-based RPG game.
When I started this whole video idea, I was like, Mario vs Sonic, a testament of time, But when I started playing Sonic X Shadow Generation, when I started playing Mario and Luigi Brothership, it then hit me. Yeah, I'm comparing apples to oranges, aren't I? Personally speaking, I like Mario and Luigi Brothership a bit more. But that's also because I'm more familiar with Mario franchise, especially Mario and Luigi RPG franchise. And well, I just dabbled here and there with the Sonic one. I still want to get more into Sonic games, but I am currently just dabbled into it. If you like actions, fast-paced game, then you will definitely like Sonic X Shadow Generation. But if you like strategic RPG turn-based game, then Mario and Luigi is your kick. And if you prefer both of them, well, then you are the true winner of this game. So, just to establish who won, well, as disappointing as this answer is, it all depends on your taste now, doesn't it? Except Sonic Generation. Sonic Generation sucks!